You said couple of words that for me are triggering in a positive way, in a good way, where it really kind of gives me the sense of, who you are, what your mission is, where you're heading. Obviously, the stillness, it's such a important part of our journey, of our growth. But when you were talking, you started with, I was doing all these things. I was, quitting a job to start doing my business, exactly the same thing. Really not realizing that anything is possible. And that's what I love about this world, the day and age we live in, that anything is possible. We don't have to do everything, but we can do anything. But if you're just busy and busy and busy and just keep on turning, one career, one hobby, another hobby, this and this and this and this, one course, we never really stop and realize what it is that we really want, what makes us happy. Because when we're so busy, just keep going, there isn't space for clarity, there isn't space for realization. And I love that, you realize that your journey of being slowly pushed and encouraged and forced. There could be some gentle encouragement. And obviously, cancer diagnosis is a massive, massive halt, massive nudge to be like, wait a minute, like you really, really need to stop and pause and reconsider that lead you to help others. So I'm curious how it then helps, how it works when someone comes to you, because I can imagine that people feel the need to something changing, to slow down. But we're very resistant to this kind of a change. We are so used to being in the motion that often we leave it till where the body just forces us, where something happens. Obviously, pandemic was more of an external situation, but even throughout that, so many people just kept themselves busy with more things and other things and being part of different projects and doing different things.
Mhm.
And so many of us, we know from all the research that so many, especially women, but everyone, we so often wait until the body just tells us, no, stop, you
Yeah.
cannot. It manifests our relentless busyness just manifests in some sort of illness that forces us to stop and rethink. So I'm curious how then it works when a client comes to you. What are the maybe methods and techniques or approaches or questions that you help them to enable a bit more of the stillness right here, right now?
Yeah, you brought up something really crucial there, which is it's almost the pain has to get almost so bad, like it was for me, that we don't have any other choice. And I feel that my role is to help people before they get to that point. And I do that by sharing stories and sharing pain points and I'll nudge lovingly so, but I will poke in my social media posts and when people are reaching out to me. And I like to think of it as helping people to see what's the busyness hiding. What are they hiding from? Because for me, busyness was both a badge of honor. Hi, look, I'm busy. I'm important. And it was also a security blanket. Because if I'm busy, I don't have to look at all the other things that are going on. And those are the ways I start working with people is what is it that you are feeling, which is why you came to me. And if you're like, I'm busy, I need more stillness, well, why do you need more stillness? And really helping them to start to see what is it that they're really trying to find or accomplish. So it could be a speaker who needs to find space in their calendar and in their, even when they sit down to write their talk and get ready for their talk, maybe they don't do simple things like turn off notifications. Maybe they need to learn how to go to a different space. Or is it somebody who is an executive that is so busy that they've lost sight of what they are really trying to accomplish in their business? And how can we create space for them to have that quiet, have that stillness? And then what does it look like for them? So when I'm working with clients, it starts with a lot of questions to start to dig down into what's the real need. They may say, I just need to get better at staying off of social media. Okay, great. And what need is that social media feeding? Why do you keep going to social media? Because if we don't start to dig into that, and explore that, then they're just going to keep going back to social media. I mean, I speak about this, I coach others about this, and I'm still addicted to social media because that's the game they're playing with the apps. Anyways, but the three things that I really focus on when I am working with clients are how do we make space for you? How do we make time for you? So, space is about the mental and physical space. How do we clear the decks mentally and physically so that you can spend some time in stillness, in rest, whatever that looks like for you? And then how do we make the time for it? But the key piece is how do we make it matter to you? So, what does rest look like for you? What does meditation look like for you? I get asked, should I meditate? Should I journal? I don't know because I don't know if one, that resonates with you, or two, if that will help you accomplish what it is you're looking to do. So, stillness and rest and quiet can look very different depending on the person. And that's the fun part, which is let's explore and try different things. Because what works for me won't work for you and won't work for them. So that's the fun part that we have.
Illness is something that I'm working on. It's part of my personal journey, but it also has these limiting beliefs that come in. It's for example, mine is, yeah, I'm putting my hand up to my limiting belief here, is, the minute you're sitting still, I was told, but you're lazy. If you're not busy, you're
Mhm.
lazy. And lazy people are not quite bad people, but you don't get anywhere in life if you're lazy. And there's all this connotations, and I still get it. Now, I got it in December and January when I went to go visit my mother. I got, why you're doing nothing, you lazy. Why are you so lazy? And it's like, it's not being lazy, but it's having to overcome all these limiting
Mhm.
beliefs. And I know that's not just one of them, but it's also if I'm not busy, I'm not good enough. If I'm not busy, I'm not
Mhm.
going to be successful. If I'm not busy, I'm not a good mother. I need to be busy. So there is this belief around if we're
Mhm.
not busy, then we're not worth who I am, then I'm not a
Mhm.
worthwhile human. And that can be quite an impactful limiting belief. How do
Mhm.
you help your clients to overcome these beliefs that they've most probably been brought up with, that they've been told? I mean, like just going on your examples, you loved
Mhm.
talking, you loved being with people, you just had that belief that being talkative and active and busy, it then to be still, and then you've
Yeah.
got that little voice in your head going, yeah, but you're not worth it, yeah, but you're lazy,
Mhm.
yeah, but you're not a good mother, yeah, but you're not a good employer, you're not a good business owner, you're not you're not good, you're not good, going through your head. So it's okay, how can I be busy? So how do
Mhm.
you help clients to overcome those beliefs that are so ingrained?
Okay, so Natalie, I think you've been reading my journals. So, yeah, in fact, probably just 6 months ago, I had that conversation with myself in my journal about you're lazy. And these are such sticky beliefs. What I like to do are two things. One, I try to share my story as much as possible, that I have gone through these same things. I had to let go of this feeling that I was lazy. The other thing I try to do is start to bring some of the science into it, that helping people understand that when you rest, then you can have these great creative sparks of ideas, that you can be better for yourself as well as others. We always hear it on the airplanes, put your oxygen mask on your self first before you help someone else. And I feel that these two things are the start of it. And again, it goes back to those questions. What's really going on here? What are you trying to avoid, or what's the belief that you're still holding on to? And it depends on the person, whether it's journaling or coaching or, walking in the forest to start to really dig into. But the key is to find those moments to just be so you can start to hear those voices. And it sounds really scary. Like, I don't want to hear that I'm lazy. But if I start to hear I'm lazy, then I'll start to understand whose voice that is. And then I can start asking the questions and helping my clients ask the questions. Is that really true? Whose voice is that? Is it really your voice? I also like to have people think of their little selves. So I bring up, I'm showing on the camera for so Natalie and Leica can see it. There's a picture of little Chris there. And I like to look at little Chris and ask, do you think I'm lazy? And little Chris never says, no, you're lazy. Little Chris always like, no, you should rest. You should nap. You should play. So starting to really dig into whose voice is that so you can start to let it go. So it's a little bit of that, but it's also a little bit of the research. An interesting conversation I was having with a friend where we were talking about where did this whole, like I don't always use the word rest or stillness when I'm talking about my work because that has that, oh, I can't be resting. I can't be still. I must go, go, go. And if you think about where that came from, I mean, that's been around for ages. Idle hands are the devil's workshop. You've seen that everywhere. The Puritans over here in the States, I mean, that was, you just worked and worked and worked and worked, and that just has bled into generation after generation after generation. So I think it goes back to, those things, which is you have to find some stillness so you can really hear whose voice is that and is it really true and start to question that. And once you can start to understand whose voice it really is, and you're like, oh, that's not mine. I don't have to listen to that. It takes practice, though. And it takes practice asking whose voice that is. Is that really true? The more you say that and the more they practice it, it slowly starts to unravel. But throw a little science in there, too. That really helps people when they can see, oh, there's data. Like, I should be resting. I can be more productive when I rest. And throw in some Albert Einstein and some others who, really promoted rest. And then that helps people to start to see, yeah, they could be better off for it.